and I would like to tell you the story of how I came to know Heartfire missions and a little bit about my journey back to faith. For most of my adult life, my belief in a higher power leaned towards agnostic, and there have even been times where I refer to myself as an atheist. So I am definitely not someone that had a foundation deeply rooted in religion or studying, the Bible, or even someone that went to church. By a strange twist of events, I was flying down to Mexico to a friend's wedding. It was a last minute trip that I planned at an extremely difficult point in my life. Going through a marriage separation, and I'm working out the details of my new normal, taking care of my young son. So there's lots of challenges that I'm going through. And so I boarded this plane very last minute to be with a friend. And I sat down, and I probably looked upset. And for the first hour, I flew in silence and just was lost in my thoughts. At some point, the gentleman next to me started to chat with me, asked me a little about myself, as normal seatmates do. He asked me about my life, and I asked him why he was on the plane. And he told me about why he was traveling to Mexico, which was to be on a 2-week mission. And on the plane was also a team of doctors and nurses and volunteers. I was just so moved by what he and his team were doing that I don't know what compelled me, but I asked if he needed more volunteers and if I could come, and he said yes. And I did. And that week completely changed my life. It just rocked everything that I believe. I was greeted by strangers when I arrived at the medical facility 2.5 days later with no judgment, just kindness, openness, just open-hearted people that were there to serve. And I found that in the hardest time of my life, serving others just lifted a weight off of me. And I can't describe in words, it's difficult for me to articulate how I felt in words. But during that week, I felt God's grace. I felt something bigger and a purpose. With that feeling came the absence of fear about my future moving forward. It was like after that week, I instantly knew that I was going to be better than okay. It was one of the most filling weeks that I can remember. And I've come home changed. I've come home with a feeling of purpose. And I just come home with this feeling of assurance that there is something larger and beautiful community to support me. It has completely changed my life for the better. And I know how bright everything will be in the future for me as long as I continue to work in God's path and in God's light. And that's my story. This is my testimony.